Welcome back. In this video, we're going to introduce Inhouse Sign. Inhouse Sign is one of many products on the Inhouz Cloud platform. Inhouse Sign is an e-signature platform that lets you build e-signature applications. And yes, I said e-signature apps. Other e-signature products today take the pen and paper experience of contract management and basically just replicate that on the screen. Whereas with Inhouse Sign gives you the ability to build data-driven and automated e-signature workflows, right? And you're basically building e-signature documents, right, that have the feel of an actual software application. And we're gonna, go through a lot of detail on Inhouse Sign in this video series on Inhouse Sign, and you're gonna see at every step all the things that makes me make this claim that Inhouse Sign lets you build e-signature applications. To get into the Inhouse Sign module, all I need to do is click on Inhouse Sign in my main menu. So one of the things that that is so powerful about Inhouse Sign is that you only need to have an Inhouse Cloud account. So with Inhouse Sign, you can do we have multiple environments, right? So you have a sandbox, you have a production, environment. You are able to do contract automation, and we're gonna go into that in some detail, payments, and a whole bunch of very very cool things. And we're gonna touch on a lot of things in our video series. But one very very cool thing about Inhouse Sign is that you don't have to have a developer account and then a regular account. So you only need one account and you could basically accomplish every single thing you need to accomplish. So if we take a quick walkthrough, I'm just going to skip the documents for now. We're going to touch on that in future videos. I'm just going to jump into templates because templates are what you use to basically automate document generation or speed up the process. I'm just going to open one template here. So as you can see, this template, Inhouse Sign, is built on top of the Inhouse app builder, which kind of beckons back to what I said that Inhouse Sign lets you create e-signature applications because this is an e-signature document. But if you look over here, you can see that it's data driven. Okay, it's just like an Inhouse Cloud application. Do all the things that you would do traditionally. For example, if I switch to the functions tab, you can run lifecycle functions. So on app load, on app close, on data change, on submit. So you can run functions, based on this life cycles. So you can have, dynamic documents that behave differently based on whatever data, right, is, in the document. So just like your in-house cloud applications with Inhouse Sign, you do build data-driven e-signature documents that are fully responsive, as you can see, that you get to style to pixel perfection. You get all the functionality that you would expect with an e-signature platform, being able to edit PDF documents, being able to generate blank documents that you then get full control over how they look. So you can basically generate your own documents. And of course, just like an in-house application, this could be data driven. This could have all the things like automation, like animation, perfect CSS styling. Um, so, we're going to get into a lot of this in this video series. I'm just going to keep on going. If I jump into the settings, you can see that you can configure roles, sending sequences, approval workflows. So we're going to touch this later on in one of the videos. You can set global approval workflows as opposed to setting approval workflows in each template. But if you do have an approval workflow within the template, then that would supersede a global workflow. You can configure your security configurations using Inhouse firewall. We're going to touch on this. These security features really sets Inhouse Sign apart from other platforms because you can do some very cool things like geo restrictions. So you can have, an allowed country list where you can say, well, I only want this document to be signed by people in Albania and maybe Argentina, right? And everybody else is kind of shut out, right? And you could do this with IP addresses, you could do this with users, you could do this with email domains, top level, and email domains. And it kind of goes on and on and on. Turn this off real quick. You have settings so you can have all this very cool things like, setting reminders, expirations. You can even collect attachments. And we're going to get into that when we actually start working with documents. You can store your data in your own data storage location if you want. So this is something that is exclusive to Inhouse Sign. Nobody else in the industry has this ability to store your actual files on your own file storage uh, servers like AWS S3, Google Cloud Storage. And we're going to get into that in a future video. Again, you can basically configure approvals like you've seen before. You get your standard audit logs, attachments. You kind of get the idea. Another very cool thing about Inhouse Sign is that you get the benefit of having in-house payments embedded within Inhouse Sign. So you can configure uh, payments that, let's say, you can add payments, and all this could be data driven, by the way. You could basically collect payments using Inhouse Sign. So, a user is going to agree to terms or whatever, and then begin payments. So you can have that beautiful workflow with Inhouse Sign. So let me jump out of the templates and just get back to the module. Like I said before, you have your global approval workflows that you can configure here. And this could be, very detailed. So you can do some very cool stuff like say, okay, I want at least one required approver. And I could say maybe I want this approval workflow to be based on payment amounts. So I can say maybe if we are doing if we have a sales team and we're trying to send out, sales contracts or whatever, you can use your own use case. So you can, configure some really cool stuff like for amounts greater than, call it maybe $500, you want for sure someone to approve, right? And then you could add an approver. I'm going to add myself. Now I have all the validation types, right? Then I can basically come in here and say, well, I want to add a sub validation that says, well, for payment amounts, I only want to be approving contracts that are above $10,000. So this way, I don't get every single thing that goes above 500. That you can have someone else to, for maybe things between $500 and $10,000 with, a range, right? Within a range of like 500 to $10,000. So you kind of get the idea of how approval workflows work. We have multiple approval workflow validation types. You can say, well, maybe you hire someone new and maybe you want, this person to always be, you want every single document they send out to always go through someone else approving it because they're in a probation period. Or let's say you had a certain customer, client, that you want to basically approve everything that goes to them, right? And you could just put your email in here, and that's it. If you wanted it to be more than one, you could say, well, you could put the multiple emails, and now all contracts going to these two people, right, will have to go through approval. So you kind of, get the points of how approval workflows work. It could be global and it could be local to a template or local to a document. Local always supersedes global. And you can always mix and match. So if you wanted to have global for payments, but then local within a template, you can do that as well. And it will blend it perfectly. All right. And here, This is the interface for um, this is the interface for approving requests, approving documents rather. And we're going to touch on this when we actually start working with documents. And then finally, you can see some metrics, and you can get very deep into all your metrics, all your numbers, like you would on any major e-signature provider. Now, what really sets Inhouse Cloud apart? Remember that we said, or I said earlier, right, that with Inhouse Sign, you are creating e-signature applications. And I showed you the templates, and I showed you how it is built within the Inhouse Cloud app builder. So when you are configuring an Inhouse Sign documents, you are configuring a web application, right? But what really sets this apart is that there is no developer account. Everything is within the Inhouse Cloud platform. And if I just jump over into the function builder, and let's just create a dummy function called as test Inhouse Sign. Just create this function really quickly, give it a workflow name of logic. Right. So if I go in here and I just type sign, you see it all. You can basically create an Inhouse Sign document, delete an Inhouse Sign document, cancel an Inhouse Sign document, get an Inhouse Sign document, generate an Inhouse Sign signing page URL, uh, get an Inhouse Sign document file, get Inhouse Sign doc. You could literally automate every single thing using functions. And this opens up all the opportunities of using Inhouse Sign within APIs, using Inhouse Sign from web applications using a function, using Inhouse Signs within automations. I just showed you how to just manually use the UI to basically do things. So, what really sets the Inhouse Sign experience apart from every other platform is that you have everything in one place. You have multiple environments in one place. We elevate the experience of an e-signature product to meet the modern needs of organizations that need this super powerful, super dynamic, super configurable e-signature products, right? Instead of having 10,000 different, I'm just exaggerating by the way, but instead of having tens of templates and tens of different configurations that just differ based on one or two things, you could build logic into your e-signature documents, and the exact same document is experienced by different signers differently based on data, right? So that's it for this introduction. In the upcoming videos, we're going to dive into every single piece of Inhouse Sign. And we're going to touch everything. And when this is all said and done, you're going to be a pro. All right. Thank you. See you in the next one.